Hi, hello everybody. Welcome to Design Reflections by Jam Flat Glass India. We are here to talk about the past, present, and future of design with exclusive, eminent designers from this fraternity. Today we have with us architect Harjas Kaur from studio Modbox. We will be knowing from her that how she embraces glass as a key element in interior aesthetics. We will talk about the modern minimalism of glass. Talking about Jam Flat Glass India. Jam is Europe's #1 glass producer, supplying to 150 countries and exporting with operations across 14 countries on 4 continents, and establishes its global presence in the market through various channels. They are one of the top 3 global producers of glass in all its main business lines. With 85 years of experience in the glass industry and their strong expertise, Jam holds a workforce of more than 22,000, earning a revenue of over $3 billion. We are here talking about this series. It is my pleasure to invite you all in today's live engaging session called the Design Reflections, presented by Jam Flat Glass India. I am just sharing it with you again, so whoever is joining with us now knows why we are here, and we are here for multiple Fridays, 6 p.m., talking about glass and how it has embraced our lives in various ways from past to now and what will be the future. Talking about myself, I am architect Himani Ahuja, founder of One Digital. We lead brands, and we make architects, designers, and design brands vision for future through PR and communications. Talking about today's guest, who is architect Harjas Kaur. She is the principal architect and one of the founding partners at Studio Modbox. She graduated into architecture from the prestigious TVB School of Habitat Studies, and she has an experience of more than a decade, more than probably 12 years now into her field. Deciding to have taken up architecture, she had a keen interest and sharp aptitude for interior design and interior space. And then she started the firm Studio Modbox in 2005. We will have her here with us very soon. Studio Modbox is an interior designing firm which caters to a wide variety of client sensibilities, covering minimalism, modern, classical, and even eclectic styles. We have Harjas with us here. Welcome, Harjas.
Hi.
Welcome to Design Reflections by Jam Flat Glass India. We are very excited to have you
Thank
and to know more about
you. I'm
you.
excited as well.
Great. And so me and her just go a long way. I've known her since really long, and such communication keeps happening, but it is very exciting to have you on a podium like this to know extensively about design from you and how you got here. So let's start. I would, I have told our audience a little about Studio Modbox, but I would really want you to run us by through, how Studio Modbox came into place, and, how you came into design. What kind of sparked your passion for architecture?
Hi, so I'm Harjas Kaur, like Kimani's mentioned, introduced. Thank you so much for that. So I've studied architecture from TVB School of Habitat Studies. It all started from school, I think, for people who are new into architecture, want to pursue. So I was trying to find my passion, and I knew I didn't want to go into something that's very theoretical, something that's very rote learning. So did not have many people from this background, did not know many people from this background at that time. But a friend of mine was doing architecture, got to know more about it. And it really, I just felt from the time I got to know about it that, okay, this is my calling. This is what excited me at that time and still does. So it's a very, very interesting field where there's a lot of hard work, but it really does pay off. It pays off when people are happy. It pays off when something that you've just sketched can actually be created in 3D, in reality.
Yeah.
So, like, that's very, very exciting, very fulfilling feeling. So, nothing like that, I feel.
Right.
So that's where it all started, and
That's
it's
how.
still going like that, I feel.
Right, right. And how did Studio Modbox come into play? You know, you started on architecture with your passion, but how did you
Right.
really think on, okay, now is the time that I should start my own firm?
It's I always say I had two babies together. So I was working as an architect for a few firms earlier. And when I was expecting my first baby, that's when I delivered two babies together. So I had my baby, and while being at home, I realized that I think it's time that I start on my own. I think it's time that interiors I had not done till then. Frankly, I was
Yeah,
doing architecture
right.
completely, and but I just knew that when I start on my own, it will not be architecture. It will be the smaller details. It will be the minute things which matter the most to me,
Right.
and in a house especially. So I think residential architecture also was something that was in a way written in a way I'd known from the beginning that this would be my comfort space. And so that's where I started together with the little baby, and this Studio Modbox again happened together and going
Exciting,
strong.
exciting. But it's always, I think it's always great when you do have a knowledge about architecture,
It
and you
completely.
be in a process involved, apart from your interior expertise. It's always welcome when you know the entire inside out of the house or the
No,
space.
I mean, the way an architect would look at interiors would be
Yeah,
very different from the way an interior designer would look.
right.
Because when till a layout is functional, I mean, it makes no point that, you put this painting or you put this
Yeah,
paneling. It makes no sense. So till I mean, till I'm satisfied with the layouting of the house, till we are satisfied with the functioning of the services, we of
yeah,
course understand that, and we go into deep technical details of
right.
that. So, and that becomes a very important interior part of the services, become
Absolutely
a very important interior part. So
right.
that's what I, being an architect and then doing interiors is like, I think, a completely different viewpoint. And that's really required. That's required because also it should not be that somebody else is doing the architecture and the building and the interiors are not talking to each other as well.
Exactly.
So from
Absolutely.
that aesthetic point also, it needs to, like, we need to know what the architect is imagining for the
Right.
architecture, so that that the story continues inside.
Right.
So
Right.
yes, all that knowledge is very, very essential, crucial for
Right.
any client as well, for a holistic house, so that it's
Yeah.
integrated as an architect and interiors together.
Absolutely, absolutely agree with you. So, I mean, like we're talking about design, and do you really feel that there is an evolution that has happened in design, and how have you kind of evolved in your process of evolution in design over the years? Because I'm sure what was made 10 years back is probably a little different from what's happening now. So, what are the factors that really shape your philosophy around these evolving times, and any specific principle that you follow?
I don't think there's any specific principle. It's a learning, and I
Yeah,
feel every time we keep learning, and it'll keep changing probably. And the more you know, sometimes I feel from the very beginning, sometimes you think that okay, we all are very passionate about interiors, and we'll say we want to do this and that,
yeah,
and there'll be projects where you've gone really up and like done so much, and then you realize that no, it's important to even sometimes not to do a lot.
yeah,
So that's a process. It's an internal journey where what resonates with you, you understand yourself more, you
yeah,
understand what works well, what's the scale of the spaces. So that evolution, of course, has happened with as many projects as you do. I think very important evolution for my own learning was learning the services more
right,
than just the aesthetics, but learning the services, learning the scale of the project. Those things really make you learn so many different things. And apart from that, if you talk about the aesthetical part, of interiors.
Right.
Of course, so many new materials are coming in every time. We have so much new to work. Like pehle, it was mainly just stones. Now tiles
Yeah.
is such a big thing, and then glass is like today we are going to
Yeah.
discuss it. It's like a different character in itself. It can be
Right.
used in so many different ways. So of course, all these new materials, new technologies are coming in and very welcome. It's exciting to use this. We are in an era we have so much around us that
Yeah.
sometimes the clients also say that, it's confusing that there are so
Yeah.
many options. So it's important to understand the project. It's important to understand what's the basic of that project. What does it require? What kind of materials it require? What's the color palette, the mood board for it? And then choose those materials accordingly so that it justifies well for that project
Right.
particularly.
Right, absolutely. So, I mean, since we're talking about, how evolution is important, I would also want to understand from you in terms of your growth. Is there any specific project that you can, tell us about and share with the audience about, which has really evolved you as like a designer, or something that is really close to you, where it has shaped you for and made you ready for your future projects?
I think there would be two things.
Right.
One is when I was working with my first office, Mr. Virendra Vaklu, my mentor, and
Yeah.
we all went for a trip
Yeah.
together to Sri Lanka,
Okay.
and we did a Jeffrey Bawa trail there, and just that architecture. I think the weather is beautiful there. So the openness, like the buildings are, we saw some hotels where from the inside till the sea, you can just walk through it. There's no partition, there's nothing, it's just an open space. So that architecture itself, I never forget that feeling that I got in Sri Lanka at that time. And I would aspire sometime to get those kind of projects and, you
Right.
know, would love to do that kind of work,
Yeah.
which we saw in Sri Lanka with Jeffrey Bawa's work. That is something that as a young budding
Yeah.
architect designer, I had aspired. But regarding my own work as at to do Modbox, this project, which is been ongoing still in a way, hoping to finish it soon. It's been ongoing since almost 4 years. The client has a baby who's 3 years now. I've had a baby in between who's 2 years now. So
Yeah.
it's been on for a long time, but COVID happened. So much happened in between now. The client and us, we have really good friends. But there was so much learning. That was one of the first big scale project for our office, from hiring more people to making those presentations to creating a good bank of vendors
Yeah.
for that project and understanding new materials. There was a lot of opportunity that we got in that project. And the client has been a very good friend, and they really had faith in us throughout the process. So we still are very good friends now. And so that project has been really, really wonderful for our office, for our learning. It has come out very nice. Soon we'll be able to finish it completely and take a photo shoot and start, like, we can share it with everyone as well, that
Right.
it's been good 4 years of hard work. And yeah, and very, very fulfilling. The client is happy living in that space. We are doing the last bits of accessorization now, but they are very happy with
So,
the
like,
planning, the interiors.
is it like a holiday home? Is it like a residential
No,
space that?
it's a residential space,
Yeah.
but there it's 25,000 square feet of space. So
Okay.
there's a lot of room for designing. There's a lot of area, so many bedrooms, so many spaces and open areas and drawing rooms and swimming pool space. So like the client says that now their relatives will say that it's so nice. We don't want to go out in
Yeah.
a hotel. We are coming to your place to stay. So that's such a big compliment for us that they are loving that space
Yeah.
and even their family is enjoying it together. So yes, that's
That.
one
Yes.
space I would say that has really inspired us, evolved with us, and we have learned so much while designing that.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So, when I talk about spaces like these, which are huge scale spaces, we obviously bring glass into the space somehow, some way or the other.
Completely.
We talk about embracing glass as an element in such spaces, which are larger spaces, or even probably for smaller spaces where we want to create an interplay. So, we know that glass is known for its versatility. So, I want to understand from you that how do you leverage glass's unique properties into the aesthetic of certain spaces like these, and particularly, especially when we talk about modern minimalism and we talk about modern aesthetics.
Yes. Since Studio Modbox, uh, essentially we are doing modern contemporary interiors. So of course, glass becomes a very, very integral part. And I think in any ways, all kind of design styles now, glass becomes an integral part. So to start with, if you talk about the
Hmm.
layouting, Delhi, especially we are in Delhi, the kind of weather that we have, I think first of all, we all want big houses, big looking houses, but that kind of space, the kind of air conditioning we'll need does not allow that. So at a layout level, I feel glass becomes important for that vision, the big vision still being there. Along with that, we still are able to segregate spaces into smaller areas while maintaining that the expanse of the space,
Right.
and still yet having that the confinement so that we can air condition that space efficiently as well. So I think at a layout planning level, glass becomes very, very essential for the layout level. So be it like a big open hall, but still we are segregating a drawing room space
Right.
from that hall. We'll take slider glasses there, which can, when the weather is good, when the party is there, more people are there, we can just slide the whole thing out and it becomes one big space. So with glass being so versatile, glass being transparent and yet completely partitioning that the spaces into two areas or whatever different areas, it just gives us so much possibility that we are visually still connected. We are not confining the expanse of that space. We are still having that, and yet we are segregating spaces. So that would be at that level. And now with so much technology coming in, having glasses in different forms and styles, and oh God, it's beautiful now. So it's just replacing from glass top to panelings to
Right.
it's there in the bathrooms. Every space is taken up by glass now.
Right.
So it's of course there.
Absolutely. So when glass actually doesn't take away from the expanse, and it still kind of helps to segregate spaces like you mentioned. When we talk about modern minimalism, it actually really talks about simplicity, talks about how spaciousness is still maintained and there are clean lines. So in such a scenario, when we're talking about minimalism, how do you utilize glass to have a clutter-free environment? Because we can't have too many partitions. We can't have too many interplays happening as well. So how can we really utilize glass in a fashion that it still doesn't look cluttered? Still doesn't create clutter.
No, but I just feel that in fact minimalism is when we're not seeing a lot of materials.
Right.
Like, so if we talk about minimalist materials, if we talk about like these days we're doing houses and we want the walls to look very plain. They are plain painted or just very simple
Right.
wallpaper walls.
Right.
And we don't want to see that huge architrave and a wooden door.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now glass doors have come in and they can be of any color, any material, just a plain door with minimal door frame. Because with glass and metal, we can have so much strength in so much little
Yeah.
detail, like in smaller sections. So then the doors almost literally vanish within the walls and they can merge and get
Right.
paneled within the walls. So that's how we are just adding whenever we're talking about minimal now. I'm doing my own house and our doors are glass doors. So literally they are non-existent within the walls. They don't highlight so much and become an
Yeah.
element. So like that, there are such different elements where, say, we want a wall like staircases the walls along the staircases where we don't want to do a lot, but to make it maintenance free, we use glass there as just basic glass our lacquer glasses, becomes maintenance free, gives a very neat and clean look,
Yeah.
adds to that minimal feel, and yet makes it very user friendly, easy to maintain within like years to come then. So these elements are used wherever required, and glass with, as partitions you're saying, there are so many designs that can be done from very maximum to minimum. We use glass partitions in a very minimal way, yet with these different kind of sandwich glasses, we can add luxury also, give a little character to that space with
Right.
the different kind of glasses that we have now.
Absolutely. So, talking about glass where it's offering transparency to living spaces, probably residential spaces, what do you have to say about the working? Now we do a lot of work from home, a lot of spaces which are created for a working environment. So, how do you really utilize glass in such spaces, which are more on commercial
Um, be it office or be it home spaces, um, glasses like the DGO glasses and glasses with seals, then these days the glass doors that we are having with good seals, they are acoustically work very well.
end? Right.
For offices, for commercial buildings, for hospitals, when we need them, that the sound is getting cut, you can get that, create that environment, the stillness that you need in spaces that is there, and yet still, like we said, that you
Right.
wanting the natural light coming in for the open spaces, you want to be connected, like in our office, if we of course want that we are disconnected from maybe when we are in a meeting, but yet we can be visually connected with the office people.
Right.
So it becomes such a nice medium. Then you can have both that flexibility,
Right.
and along with that, these days we have the glasses with integrated lines, so we get more flexibility, and the
Yeah.
switch glasses where we can just change whenever required. Whenever
Right.
required, it becomes opaque. Whenever required, it becomes
Yeah.
transparent. So it's just such a versatile material for us designers and users to have
Yeah.
and play with.
Right. So, I mean, yes, we're talking about living environment in terms of living spaces, workspaces. Often, in such situations, we deal with this word called sustainability, right? Because that's a word that's being used by everyone, whether a man talking about it, designer talking about it. Everybody just says, oh, it has to be sustainable. I don't really care about anything else, but, my house needs to be sustainable. Or, as a designer, I use sustainable features in my space. So, according to you, I want to talk about glass. According to you, do you think it's sustainable or not? What is really sustainability? Because it's like a consideration for all interior spaces now. So, can you talk about
Right.
that when it is connected to glass?
See, to be very honest, we are not a firm who's deep into sustainability, I'll be very honest, but yet uh, we are doing basic residential good houses. And when we're talking about a residential house, we're talking about not switching on the lights the whole time.
Yeah,
So, glass helps us there. We are talking about if we are sleeping, we don't want the noise to be coming in.
right.
So glass helps us, the acoustic glass properties of having a DGO helps us there. We don't want the house to be heated up so
Right.
much. Then again, the DGO glass is cutting the heat from outside. So if I talk about sustainability, I'll talk about the very basics of the glass being a good medium for sunlight to be coming in, for the heat to be cut from that, for the acoustics to be better in a house. And that's what we need every day. That's what a house needs. That's what we need, that, we're not having recurring cost of, so many of our clients say that we love our house because we don't have to switch on the light for the whole day. And that's such a win-win. And if they're living on the third floor, and yet the house is not that heated up because we've used EGU wherever required, and the house is not that there's not so much sound even if it's on the main road, because again the specific glass has been used. So all of that just helps us in our everyday life,
Right.
and it, I think, brings us joy and is sustainable for me. That's what I believe in sustainability is for us.
Absolutely. I think these are the core elements that are required when somebody is maintenance stream, sort of something which is efficient or something which is really sustainable.
I
It's
don't
not about like,
know, your voice is cracking. I don't know if it's for me or for everyone. If you could just get it checked.
can
Yeah,
you hear me now? Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
So I just mean that yes, sustainability is a big overhyped word, but I think if we kind of achieve these core elements, your house becomes sustainable. So,
Right, right,
ab-
exactly.
so okay, all right. Move on to the next thing. Talking about materials, you mentioned that glass works well with metals. Talk about the frames in a modern sense. So, what according to you works well with glass when you talk about materials?
Well, like I said, glass and metal are the best of friends, I feel. Having said that, glass has, of course, it has so many uses that when we talk about glass as a partitioning system or a door system, then of course metal becomes very interesting because the sections are smaller. Like, of course, wood is also there, but the sections are smaller, it's lighter, it has, you can do big expanses. So that becomes a consideration if we are using wood, that we can't have that big in wood expanse and the strength will not be so much. But when we talk about glass as paneling material, then it goes well with everything,
Right.
of course. So glass as a mirror, glass as a paneling system now, as a beautiful printed wall or beautiful fabric wall, fabric glass wall, then that just becomes a highlight for us, and we use it with all kind of materials, with wood, with and anyways, we really believe in mixing of materials and getting the details together.
Yeah.
So something which is a little cold as a glass will always complement well with a wood,
Something.
because the that
Yeah.
just complements well, that we get the warmth and the coolness together. And then of course stone and glass are also well together, but like wooden glass of course is, as a uh, look and feel, a finish is they complement very well. So we would not want to take everything glass and have a little cold feel to it. We would
Yeah.
probably always add a little bit of warmth to it. But as a partitioning system, glass and metal just are best friends.
Right. Okay. So you're talking about technology, like you have spoken about how it works well with materials. According to you, how do you think about the technology coming? How do you keep yourself up to date for your
Uh, well, in that, of course, honestly, we've reached a level where, of course, the vendors also come up to us and let us know what's happening in the market.
yeah,
Then the events happen these days, which really update us on the different kind of companies, what they are bringing in, and travel is very important. When we travel internationally, we get to know what's happening. When we get to go to these events, like even if an ID is happening in
yeah,
India, or an ASTEC is happening in Delhi, or if we are going to Milan. So we see all different kind of materials. So one would be that, of course, internet, social media these days, of course, update us, all of us, with so many materials. But at the end of the day, going to a vendor, getting the look and feel, understanding what exactly it is, because so many times when you see something is, you don't get the whole picture, you don't understand the whole technology so much. And when you actually go and visit some vendor and you see what's happening, what are they bringing in. Recently, we went to a vendor and uh, they've done the new showroom in such a nice way that there's so much play that we can do. They'll have different kind of glasses, and they're just asking us that, okay, as designers, if you want us to mix this and this and this, you make your own new glass and you ask us to do it, and we'll do it for you.
right,
So it was such a nice thought that they have for us, and I'm sure that eventually such kind of things, if they keep happening, there's going to be wonders we'll create, because there's just so much to play with, and something new can be done every time.
Right. And I think experience centers are coming up now, where
Right,
people can actually see how their space would look like, or how things would be installed. It's easier for a designer
right,
also for the selection process, and obviously
correct.
for the right. Okay, so talking about your design reflection moment now, I would want to know that when was the time we've known about Jeffrey Bauer moment, but this is your design reflection moment where you felt that this is the time, I feel, yeah, I'm in the right
Well, I would say I'm still waiting for that. When I feel I mean, achieved much, but
career.
and loved all of it,
Yeah,
but I'm still waiting for
that
something
one.
more coming up. I feel that one moment should be when I'm completely in sync with it and I'm more confident about it, and I feel I don't know when is that going to happen, to be very honest.
Right.
But I enjoy everything of it. I really enjoy it because we are really close to our clients, and we have good relationships with them. So we keep getting the feedback, which is, like I said, it's very fulfilling, and it's very enjoyable for not just for me. I think for my whole office, for all of us together, and in general, I think I would not say I would have just
Yeah,
one any moment like that. No.
coming because like your client said that now we don't really have to go to a hotel. I think that's also
Right.
one of the collective
Yeah,
moments where you feel good about.
that would be surely, yeah, and that's there, of course. Like I said, in fact, one of our clients, she called, and every time she said that, one thing which I really value, being an emotional person, apart from just the architecture bit that we do or the interior bit that we do, and she said that, my friends called and they said, "Are you still in touch with your architect or interior designer?" And they said yes. And they said normally, by the end of a project, they are not,
Yeah,
you're separate ways. And she said, no, we are in very good terms. And that's very rewarding for
yeah,
me. That's important for me that by the end of the day, after doing everything, it's important because it's like you're delivering a baby and giving it to someone else.
right.
So, but it'll still be your baby because you've really put your heart and soul in it. And so that is again a very important thing which I feel fulfills me as a person more than just a designer. It makes me sleep better at night.
Right, right. Absolutely. I'll wish that you will have more design reflective moments so that you're here to stay. We love your work. So only one last question that I have from you is for people coming into the industry. So as a successful architect who's doing well, who has this typology of projects running, what advice you would like to give young architects or young designers trying to make a mark in the industry?
I feel everyone needs to know their calling. That's very
Right.
important. It's very difficult. Uh, might not be difficult, might be, but everyone does know deep inside. You need to understand that. And if you're not able to find that, travel and understand what are you liking. Uh, Travel and understand what excites you. Travel and understand, see more things, experience more things. So that's very, very, very important. That's really opened my eyes,
Yeah.
has made me learn so many different things, and that that has been a journey. And I would say it's important for everyone. Again, I would like to quote my mentor here, Mr. Virendra Vaku, and he said people spend so much money in going for their masters outside. He's like, spend that much money in traveling, so you
Yeah.
learn more that
Yeah.
ways. And I think that's so true. So
I
he said that.
Yeah.
So I think that that's just so important, and that ways you going to learn so much about yourself and what are you liking, what do you resonate with. Because once, see, any kind of job is difficult in the sense if you do it well, it will be hard work. And but if you enjoy that hard work, then it at least at the end of the day, even if you're really working hard and you have a very busy life, but you're happy about it,
Right.
and that's what is important. So I mean, we all are working very hard, I feel, and but at the end of the day, if that hard work really pays off because you're happy about your work, you feel satisfied, that is very important,
Right.
and that will be the sustainable thing to do as well, because you'll be able to do it for longer time and do it with all your heart, even though you'll have so many other things to do in life.
Right.
So that is something everyone needs to figure out. And for that, if whatever it takes, travel, explore, and understand yourself.
Right.
That is
Right.
what I would like to tell everyone.
That's a great message and a good message. Basically, that like we are embracing glass here, everybody should embrace life and move forward. Thank you for joining us. Loved having you here. Thank you for sharing so much from your work and also sharing a little more about you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was lovely. It's always lovely to talk to you and see
Yes.
you like this. Normally, we see each other in screens more than in actual life, but that's
Right.
wonderful.
Right. I we will soon, and I will see you soon. Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you.
Thank you
And
so
thank
much.
yes for making us come here and talk again and have this knowledge there. Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.